You put an AP in Mike Jones and Derek.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the Apostate Prophet. I always have to let David do something weird before we start. Today, we are live once again on the most watched show in the world on Apostate Prophet's channel. And today, we have a very special episode. Today, we are going to find out if it is acceptable to marry children and if it's acceptable to marry babies. This will be very important. So this is not something that I'm saying. We all know the Islamic story on this. Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you were told just a few days ago that according to Islam, it is okay to marry an infant, right? And to have sexual intercourse with her as soon as she starts showing signs of maturity.
I was shocked. I did not think he was going to say that, but apparently, yes. Daniel Hakikachu said that, yeah, if someone goes through precocious puberty, which can happen as early as 11 months, according to a case study that I have here, yeah, they can be married off and the marriage can be consummated as soon as they start showing signs of puberty. Let's get to Bruce Ryan, because this has been Daniel's go-to guy for years to defend child marriage. Now, Bruce Ryan never defends child marriage, never once. But this is the weirdest unholy alliance I've ever seen, because Bruce Ryan is trying to defend in a lot of ways. Him and his co-author of the 1998 meta-analysis. Ryan has actually spoken at conferences in the Netherlands that defend. He has written for a journal called Paidika, Paidika, which defends pedophilia. So this guy is someone who's, and specifically, he's focusing more on defending man-boy. So this is the weirdest source for Daniel to bring up to defend his case for child marriage. But this is the guy that he has been going to make this case. Most of what Ryan is going, and if you want to share the screen there, AP, I'll bring up the 1998 meta-analysis, because this is what he's saying in the debate. So this is the 1998 meta-analysis. This meta-analysis was condemned by both houses of Congress and the psychological community at large, the psychology community at large. And what Ryan is doing in this, and his co-author as well, is they're trying to argue that
Enlarge it.
Yeah, I can zoom in a little bit here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What Ryan is trying to do here is trying to say that there is no evidence that is really harmful to the child involved. Now, this, as I noted in the debate, this was an outlier meta-analysis. There was other meta-analysis more that found the opposite of what Ryan found here. But this was the meta-analysis that he's using. The problem with this meta-analysis is it's cherry-picked data. Ryan is only grabbing sample sizes from people who are in college. But as other researchers have noted, that people that have really been damaged by a child end up going to college because they have psychological issues that last for a while. So you're just sort of like polling the people that sort of recovered well. A lot of the poor children in these incidents don't recover. But the ironic thing is what I was trying to point in the debate, which Daniel denied, is that Ryan argues that actually the boys that have been abused are not reporting as much harm. It's the girls. And here's the quote I wanted to bring up, because he says, in general, findings from the current review suggest that socio-legal definitions of child abuse have more scientific validity in the case of female children and adolescents than for male and adolescents, given the higher rate of unwanted negative experiences for women. So Ryan is basically, once again, saying the boys, basically, do not experience really harmful effects after. But the women do, and they report that. So, again, the most weirdest, unholy alliance I have ever seen in my, like, why would you cite a guy trying to defend man-boy love to support heterosexual child marriage? It's ridiculous. Now, the other study I wanted to bring up, you can put this one, I'll bring up the other study here, is the study he just cited in his debate with Harris Sultan. He cited it as far back as 2019. He also cited it in his post-debate review with Harris Sultan. So this is the one, it's called Hemophobia as a Mental Disorder. Now, this is the one I've read multiple times here. You can see it here. If you go to his post-debate review, he puts this on the screen. So I read it immediately when I saw it. And I pointed out, page 7, child sexual abuse research have repeatedly maintained that interactions are innately and intensely harmful for the younger person. And then he cites his own research to back that up. Then at the end of the review, the end of his study here, he says, he hopes this provides direction for psychiatry in helping those with hemophilic impulses to control their behavior. So he's hoping this research helps people to stop having hemophilic interactions. He's not hoping people use this to argue in favor. And he even says here at the top of this page, to conclude it should be accepted, that it should be accepted because of its expression in other species is an instance of a naturalistic fallacy, and to judge it moral in our society because it has been judged in other cultures is to commit the relativistic fallacy. So he's basically saying Daniel can't even use his own research to argue in favor of child marriage, to argue that it's moral, because Rind is basically even in agreement that this would not demonstrate it's moral. He's arguing that these practices should be curbed, that they should be stopped. And my favorite part is, again, these 4 pages where he just lists man-boy love constantly happening throughout the world, how common it was. Because Daniel's argument is that child marriage was so common that why would it be bad if it was so common? But so was man-boy love. It was so common. And notice all the highlighted parts I pointed out. It was constantly Westerners ending man-boy love. The tradition eroded in the late 19th century in reaction to Western abhorrence. The tradition faded when the practice of military service discontinued under British colonization. With outside cultural context, the tradition began to decay. The tradition ended in the later 19th century because of embarrassment and Western repugnance of efforts to modernize. So again, Daniel, I'm so sorry that Christians came and we took away your child brides and your man-boy love, and we just ruined it with our liberal Western values we had thrust upon the world. You're welcome.
Christian apologizes for ruining the world.
But Michael, one thing that I'm remembering here, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't it about this research and this guy Bruce Rind that you had a disagreement with him during the debate, and he didn't agree that with your correct assessment of what the studies actually say, and he then wanted to compare the studies. And you wanted to read the actual study and actually quote from it. And what did he want to do? What did he want to do instead? Can you say that?
He wanted to just read the abstract like he did in his review with Harris Sultan, where he just read the abstract, where he doesn't mention anything about homosexual interaction. But like he assumes the abstract is going to give him all the details about the study. That's just false. You can see in the abstract of this study, it doesn't mention that the study goes into homosexual hemophilic interactions. It just is kind of vague about it. But it seems to be that's what he thinks the abstract represents the whole study. Well, that's not always the case.
Yeah, and this brings me back to what I said what I said before, which is that it looks like what he does is he simply skims through research that seemingly supports his views. And without actually reading through the research, without studying the research, looking at the abstract and maybe skimming through it, he then presents this as a supportive source, as supportive evidence, right? I mean, this is what it looks like.